Okay, good morning guys. How are you today? Welcome to the new class. This day we're gonna continue with previous topic because as I was telling you before, it's not difficult but it requires attention, okay? So let's go ahead and let's take a look to that topic. But first of all, our introduction. We have here Cle Baranoa, Henry Padilla Escorcia, first level, May 16th class, and the objective is going to be talking about places, but the grammar part we are going to continue with simple past part 2. Remember that previous class we were explaining about regular verbs. Today we are going to focus on irregular verbs, but before that we are going to complete a review based on the information that you were asking me about the exercises. I noticed that you had a problem. You had a problem with this. You are mixing the verb to be in past. Remember, the verb to be in past, we have was or were, depending on the case, but you are making a mistake. You are using did. Never. Remember, was and were are never ever compatible with the auxiliary did. But let's take a look to that. Okay, I have here the information. Look, it says auxiliary did it's never ever compatible with the verb to be. Did you were in Barranquilla yesterday? Is that okay? Do you think it's okay? ¿Creen que está bien? Tienen el did, tienen el verbo to be y tienen el complemento. Esa oración, esa pregunta está bien o está mal. Está mal, está completamente mal. Never ever. ¿Por qué está mal? Porque el verbo que están utilizando es el verbo to be, were. No pueden utilizar el did. Never ever. El did no es compatible con el verbo to be. ¿Ok? Let's take a look to this. It says, the verb to be is an independent verb. It does not need any auxiliar. No necesita ningún auxiliar el verbo to be. Él es completamente independiente. Let's take a look to these examples. Julia was sad last week. Affirmative. Julia wasn't sad last week. Negative. Was Julia sad last week? Interrogative. So as you can see, no did. No hay ningún did or didn't por ningún lado. Simplemente el verbo to be was. Why was? Because it's Julia and Julia is she. Remember that we have the personal pronouns I, was, you, were, he, she, it, was, and we have we, you, they, were. It's going to be always the same. You need to follow always the same. I was, you were, he, she, or it was. We, you, and they were or weren't, depending if it's negative or affirmative, or exchanging the position of the personal pronoun and the verb depending if it's going to be interrogative. So, never ever did. Okay, the answer to the question. Was Julia sad last week? Yes, she was. No, she wasn't. As you could see, we never used auxiliary did. It's not necessary with the verb to be. Con el verbo to be no vamos a utilizar did. Did aplica para el resto de verbos, para todos los verbos, pero nunca aplica para el verbo to be. So, you need to take that into account to avoid making mistakes. Apenas ustedes vean verbo to be, me olvido de did, me olvido de didn't, porque el no utiliza ninguno de los dos. De hecho, el verbo to be no utiliza auxiliar. As you can see in the present, cuando hacemos el presente del verbo to be, he is my brother. Negativo, he is not my brother. No utilizamos do, ni utilizamos does. Because the verb to be is independent. En todos los tiempos, en presente, en pasado, él es independiente. So, be careful with that. Nada de colocar el auxiliar did con el verbo to be. It's gonna be a disaster, a mistake. What about the other verbs? Los otros verbos. Yes, it is mandatory. With the rest of the verbs, it's mandatory, the auxiliar. Para todas las oraciones. No. Remember, exclusive for negative and interrogative. Negativa e interrogativa. We have here, Kike walked 5 miles yesterday. ¿Por qué no hay ningún auxiliar? Why? Why don't you see any auxiliar? No hay ningún auxiliar porque esta es una oración afirmativa. Kike walked 5 miles yesterday. But look, Kike didn't. Kike didn't walk 5 miles yesterday. Negative, didn't. Did Kike walk 5 miles yesterday? Interrogative, did. You see? Negative, didn't. Interrogative, did the question. And the answers, short answers. Yes, he did. No, he didn't. Only negative and questions or interrogative. Remember, el did solamente va a estar en las negativas y en las interrogativas. Y cuando él aparece, recuerden que el verbo queda en su forma base. Look, Kike walked 5 miles yesterday. Le agregan ed para que sea el pasado. Kike walked, Kike caminó. Kike no caminó. Miren que el walk no le están agregando nada. ¿Por qué? Porque está el auxiliar didn't. En negativo e interrogativo, el verbo no va a cambiar. Va a quedar en su forma base. Kike didn't walk. Did Kike walk? Miren, el verbo normal. No se le hace ningún cambio. Okay, so please be careful with that. If you have any question about it, you can ask the question via Zoom or via WhatsApp. Okay? But the main topic for today is gonna be the irregular verbs. Last week, I told you that in English we had 2 types of verbs. Regular verbs and irregular verbs. La clase anterior, recuerden que trabajamos los verbos regulares. Cuando terminan en E le agregamos D. Cuando terminan en CH, SH, X, etc. le agregamos ED. Y aparentemente pudimos comprenderlo. But irregular verbs, it's completely different. Why? Because irregular verbs, we need to learn the irregular verbs by heart. What is the meaning of by heart? By heart quiere decir de memoria. That's the only way because they always change. Por eso les pedí la lista de los verbos irregulares. Esa lista que ustedes tienen ahora mismo, que era la tarea, donde aparecen los verbos irregulares, deben aprendérsela de memoria. No hay ningún secreto, no hay ninguna clave. Esos verbos me los debo aprender de memoria. Here we have some examples, some irregular verbs. Go, the past, went. Do, the past, did. Understand, the past, understood. Drink, the past is drank. Fly, the past is flew. Forget, the past is forgot. Take, the past is took. Teacher, pero ¿cómo sé qué es went? Memory. Tienen que aprendérselo de memoria. Now, I have a question for you to see if you understand or not. In English, remember that we have affirmative, negative, and interrogative sentences. ¿Para cuál de los tres es obligatorio que yo me sepa los verbos en pasado? ¿En afirmativa, en negativa o en interrogativa? What do you think? Let's think. Pensemos. Pensemos. ¿En cuál de las tres sí o sí debo saberme los verbos irregulares? ¿En las afirmativas, en las negativas o en las interrogativas? What do you think? Yes? Yeah? You got it? No? Well, let's do it together. Let's put an example here. Let's put an example. Mariana went to a party last week. Mariana fue a una fiesta la semana pasada. Sí o sí necesito el pasado de go, que es went. Pero si la hago negativa, Mariana didn't. ¿Necesito el went o le voy a colocar go? You remember? Por supuesto que le voy a colocar go. Recuerden que en las negativas y en las interrogativas el verbo no cambia. So, Mariana didn't go to a party last week. Mariana no fue a una fiesta la semana pasada. Question. Did Mariana go or went? Go es interrogativa. El verbo no va a cambiar. Did Mariana go to a party last week? ¿Fue Mariana a una fiesta la semana pasada? Yes, she did. No, she didn't. Remember, el yes, she did and no, she didn't is for yes, no questions. Las WH questions nunca van a utilizar el yes, no. Pero acá esto es una pregunta de yes and no. ¿Cómo sé que es una pregunta de yes and no? Porque no hay una WH question. So remember, we need to be concentrated. Tenemos que estar concentrados porque en inglés todo está conectado. Todo lo que damos en cada clase se relaciona para la nueva clase. No es que yo voy a ir olvidando lo que vamos dando. No. So you need to be focused on that. Okay. So we have here some verbs, pero no son los únicos. Los que están en su lista de la tarea debemos aprenderlos. We need to memorize them. Why? Because that's the only way to learn them. La única manera de aprenderlos es de memoria. Okay, let's take a look to the examples here. It says, I bought a new car last month. I didn't buy a new car last month. Did I buy a new car last month? Bought is the past of buy, el pasado de comprar. Miren que solamente en la afirmativa lo utilizo. En la negativa no lo utilizo porque tengo el didn't. I didn't buy a new car last month. Y en la interrogativa tampoco la utilizo. ¿Por qué? Tengo el auxiliar did. Did I buy a new car last month? Yes, you did. No, you didn't. I have a question for you. ¿Por qué si la pregunta la hago con I, la responden con you? Lo dimos en la primera clase. Si yo le pregunto a una persona, yo compré un carro el mes pasado, la persona no me va a responder, sí, yo lo compré. Yes or no, me va a responder, sí, tú lo compraste. Por eso es que la pregunta es con I, did I buy a new car last month? Y la respuesta es con you. A la persona a la que le pregunté, me va a decir, yes, you did. O me va a decir, no, you didn't. Depending on the case. WH questions. Remember, WH questions, never ever the answer is yes or no. Siempre me pide información específica. What did you do last weekend? ¿Qué hiciste el fin de semana pasado? What did you do last weekend? Okay, I have a question for you. Which one is the verb? Do or did? Miren, tenemos what did you do last weekend? ¿Cuál creen ustedes que es el verbo? Did o do? Think for a moment. Pensemos un momento. You're right, the verb is do. El verbo es do. Did es el auxiliar. So we have here did is the auxiliary, which always goes in negative and interrogative sentences. Auxiliary did equal base form of the verb. El auxiliar did me indica enseguida que el verbo va a ir en su forma base. Nunca va a cambiar. So we gotta be careful with that. Last week, I visited my grandma. I played with my cousins. I ate delicious food that my grandma cooked. I flew my kite. So we have here visit, visited, regular verb. Play, played, regular verb. Ate is irregular. Comer es irregular. En presente el verbo es eat, pero en pasado es ate. ¿Cómo sé yo que es ate? Debo aprendérmelo de memoria. Now you may say like, teacher, how do I know that the verb is regular or irregular? ¿Cómo sé que el verbo es regular o irregular? Básicamente lo que se dice es que el verbo que no aparezca en la lista se considera un verbo regular, porque los más importantes aparecen en la lista. So we have I ate delicious food that my grandma cooked. I flew my kite. What is kite in Spanish? Cometa. Volé mi cometa. Now, what about you? This is gonna be your compromise activity. I need you to please tell me, what did you do last weekend? This is an invention. It's like hypothetical scenario. Esto obviamente es hipotético because you know that due to the coronavirus, we cannot do this. We are just basically inside the house. So if you like, you can invent. Pueden inventar, no problem, so that you can tell me what did you do last weekend. Okay, guys, let me thank you very much. If you have any question or doubt, just let me know, and I'll be more than glad to help you with that, okay? We are gonna be working via Zoom because I would like to explain this topic, you know, having you like in real time to make sure that everything is clear. And I'm gonna evaluate two important items regarding this topic. Voy a evaluar tanto la pronunciación de los verbos regulares. Remember, I told you love, loved, incorrect. Love, loved. And I'm gonna evaluate the spelling of the irregular verbs. Que se aprendan de memoria los verbos irregulares. But that's gonna be next week. Next week we have like 2 mini quizzes. A quiz about the pronunciation of regular verbs and a quiz about spelling, la escritura de los verbos irregulares. Okay, guys, once again, I wish you had a wonderful day. It was a pleasure for me being with you. Okay, goodbye.